now, former Republican governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, and what he does. Governor Hogan, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good morning.
So usually I reserve these questions for the end, but I'll ask it up front here. Have you made a decision?
I haven't. Look, I said I'm going to take a pretty serious look at this, and I'm traveling around the country just trying to get a feel for what Republican voters want, what Americans are looking for, and we're going to make a decision in a relatively short period of time.
I'm interested on what Republican voters want. Yeah. Right now, if you watch your potential rivals, it does seem there's only one issue that seems to be unifying of the base, and it's sort of these culture wars and education. Here's a sampling.
Go read books like Gender Queer and see what's in there. It's inappropriate. So we've armed parents the ability to object to that and to make sure that they're having education and not indoctrination.
Across the country, parents' rights are being trampled by politically correct nanny state that's ruining our schools and telling parents that they have no role in their children's most important decisions.
There was all this talk about the Florida bill, the Don't Say Gay bill. Basically what it said was you shouldn't be able to talk about gender before third grade. I'm sorry, I don't think that goes far enough.
My question to you is not whether this is a legitimate issue to be talking about. It's about whether this is the main issue or not. Do you view this as the main issue for 2024?
No, I think it's an important issue, and I do hear it. And people are concerned about this as I travel around the country because, you know, most people just don't think we should be talking about, you know, things like sex to young kids, and that parents want to be more involved in the decisions about what their kids are being taught. However, you know, I think some of this rhetoric is, demanding that things be done a certain way, or that you can't say this or you can't say that. We've got to be really careful.
I know. Does it feel like you're going the other way? Like it's sort of like you're, on one hand, you've Governor DeSantis claiming, hey, I don't want all of this, but I'm going to tell you exactly what you can say, and I'm going to tell you what you can't say.
Well, I'm a small government, you know, common sense conservative, and to me it sounds like big government and authoritarian. You have to agree with me, and I'm going to tell you what you can and can't do. So, but it's an issue. It's not the most important issue. I think more people are concerned about the economy, inflation. They're concerned about crime. Right. But education's one of the things that we've got to talk about.
I guess the larger question I have for you, and I feel like you really are sort of an old school Reagan Republican. There were three legs to the stool: strong on national security, low government, low taxes, right? Small government, so low taxes, and the culture issues. And it seems right now it's only the culture issues that unites the party. That the party is actually divided on the other two issues. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree, and that's, you know, I've been talking out about the important issues for a long time, and yeah, I was a Republican governor in the bluest state in America and got things done working across the aisle with Democrats. I can tell you it's not what everyone's talking about, but I think some people are making the calculation that base primary voters in the Trump lane, that's what they want to hear about, and so a lot of candidates are focusing on that. But you can't dismiss it, but I don't think it should be the only thing we're talking about.
If you do run, the RNC is trying to get people to pledge. If they want to participate in their debates, their sanctioned debates, you have to pledge to support the nominee no matter who it is. You had an interesting exchange with Hugh Hewitt, and I don't know where you stand on this. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I think it's kind of silly because it's not going to happen. We already know President Trump has said numerous times he refuses to.
So if he refuses, why should you, right?
Well, I mean, if they say you're not going to be on the debate stage, if you won't commit to support the nominee, then President Trump won't be on the debate stage, and I don't think anybody believes that that's going to happen. But look, I think you know, I'm a lifelong Republican who wants to support the nominee of the party, whoever that is. However, you know, I've said before I didn't support Trump. I wouldn't support Trump. I'd put the country ahead of party and not put somebody in that should not be the president.
If you thought your candidacy was going to contribute to inadvertently helping Donald Trump, would that be a reason not to run?
That'd be a pretty good reason to consider not running. Absolutely. I mean, I care much more. I don't care that much about my future in the Republican Party. I care about making sure we have a future for the Republican Party, and if we can stop Donald Trump and elect a great Republican, common sense, conservative leader, certainly that would be a factor.
I'm curious, in a court filing this week, Dominion Voting released a lot of internal communications inside of Fox News. However people want to classify Fox News, I'm going to use the description of conservative town square. It is the town square for conservatives. Are you concerned that we now have evidence that essentially the moderators of this town square refused to tell the truth to their viewers because they were afraid of offending them?
Look, I am concerned about it, and I don't know all the details of it. We're just seeing some of these facts come forward with this Dominion case. But I think I've been concerned for a long time as I talked to conservative leaders who agreed with what I was saying. I was pretty out there, pretty direct answering some of these questions about January 6th, about the election wasn't stolen, and many of them would say it privately, but then they would go out and say almost the complete opposite, and it sounds like that's what some of the hosts on Fox News did. And I'm hoping that now more people are starting to say exactly what they believe.
But Governor, I mean, you look at it, this Michigan Republican Party just elected an election deniers party chair, the Kansas Republican Party. It feels like the conservative town square is lying to the base, and this is what happened.
Well, there's no question there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I am concerned about some of the parties and people are taking over that are believing conspiracy theories. And I think we've got to get back to a bigger tent party that can appeal to more people. Otherwise, we're going to keep losing elections.
What is your timeline? Is it spring? Is it the end of spring? Is it
I think it's sometime this spring, I think, is when you'd have to really get ramped up. I mean, we started a federal PAC at the end of the year. We've been, working around the country now for a couple of years, but I think you've got to start raising hard dollars and be really in the race, committed in the next couple of months.
Do you think the fact that you were successful in a blue state makes it actually harder for you to get a Republican nomination?
I've got strong support among Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, and I left, as one of the most successful governors in America, and I'm the only governor.
Maryland Independents and Democrats don't vote in a Republican primary for president in Iowa.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got the same vote Trump did in the Republican primary, and ran 45 points ahead of him in a general.
Well, there you go. Larry Hogan, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
Sharing
Todd.
your perspective.